The last 3 days haven't been normal for you. There is something buzzing inside, an almost electric noise that doesn't switch off when you turn out the lights, that doesn't go silent when your phone finally goes into silent mode, that won't go away with coffee, nor with wine, nor with the distraction of the infinite feed. You have woken up between 3 and 5 in the morning for no apparent reason these last few nights, with thoughts that feel delivered, not thought out. You have repeated the same imaginary conversation with someone who hasn't arrived yet, or who needs to leave. You have felt an invisible door shifting in front of you, and that something on the other side already knows your name. You didn't get here by chance. This video is not an algorithm suggestion. It is an interception, a mathematical coincidence that your field emitted, and that this transmission answered. And in a few minutes, you will understand why. On June 28th, Mars enters Gemini. This is not a decorative astrological phrase. It is not an ordinary transit, one of those that goes unnoticed and that you find out about weeks later while reading any magazine. It is the opening of a rare window, and it will redraw the nervous system of humanity over the coming weeks. You will feel the tightness in your throat before you understand what it means. You will notice that the decisions you had been putting off for months suddenly begin to move on their own. You will realize that words you kept for years will want to spill out of your mouth, and that silences you could never sustain will now impose themselves. Most people will call this stress. They will blame exhaustion. They will say it is a difficult month. Most will sleep on their feet while the window opens and closes. Not you. You are here because you have the internal infrastructure to perceive it, and this perception has a cost. From now on, you are responsible for what you know. Before moving forward, I need to tell you something that goes against everything you have been taught about spirituality. The universe will not come down and save you. Mars in Gemini is not an angel appearing with a tray of ready-made solutions. A portal is not an astronomical event. It is the exact point at which the cost of remaining trapped in your current life becomes greater than the terror of taking the next step. You take the step, and then the ground appears, never before. And that is exactly what this transit is coming to do to you. It is not a promise of peace. It is a programmed demolition of what was unsustainable. If you only want comfort, close this tab now, because this transmission was not made to lull you. It was made to wake you up. And those who wake up alone walk faster than those who wait to be carried. To understand what is coming, you need to look at Mars and Gemini as two forces that normally do not converse, and that will now cohabit the same energetic body for weeks. Mars is the raw impulse, the fire of action, the muscle that contracts before the thought, the courage that does not ask for permission. It is the planet of war, but also of clean decision. It is the pure now, without a shock absorber, without a filter, without asking for approval. Gemini, on the other hand, is the mind at high rotation. It is the word, the bond, the choice. It is the ability to see two sides of the same reality at the same time, and the inevitable discomfort of having to choose between them. Gemini is not lightness, as they sold you in cheap magazines. Gemini is active duality. It is the feeling of being divided into two lives, two voices, two directions, no longer able to push the choice to later. When Mars enters Gemini, what forms is a mental furnace. Thoughts will no longer stay quiet. Conversations will begin to accelerate. Decisions will demand speed, even when you want to stop and think. You will want to say what you had been keeping inside. You will want to expose what you had been disguising. You will want to cut ties with words and build new bonds with words as well. Language becomes a weapon and a bridge, depending on who is holding it. And here is the point that I will tell you with this honesty. During this transit, your mouth can set you free or it can destroy you. There is no third option. There is no middle ground. There is no letting it happen. Think of your body as an electrical circuit that has been running on low current for a long time. Martium Gemios is a purposeful voltage overload. You will no longer be able to hide what you have been repressing. The ideas you have put off will start to shine with an almost physical, almost painful urgency. You will open a notebook and write 3 pages of things you didn't even know you were thinking. You will sit down for a simple conversation and realize in the middle of it that a door in your life is closing forever. You will send a message you have been stalling on for months, and the reply will arrive faster than you expected, with an intensity that will force you to take a stand. The slumbering majority will enter this flow with their heads down and will end up run over, with destroyed relationships, broken contracts, lost money, and no idea what happened. You are here precisely so you don't become part of that statistic. That is why I prepared Magia M28 Exercicios, as 28 chaves do despertar for you. It is not just another astrology course. It is not pretty theory to decorate your shelf. It is a 28-day structure, synchronized with a complete lunar cycle, designed specifically for someone who recognizes they are at a turning point and does not want to walk through this window blind. Each of the 28 exercises works as a key, and each key opens a specific part of your field. The signs from the soul you have been ignoring, the shadow that has been silently sabotaging your decisions, the inner truth that demanded a voice and never received space to speak. This journey was not made for spiritual curiosity seekers. It was made for those who have understood they need to transform restlessness into language, shadow into clarity, and signs into real decisions. If you want to go through this transit of Marte M. Gemios with infrastructure and not with panic, full access is in the first comment pinned below this video. And before you continue, comment EU esto pronto if you feel that this transmission arrived exactly on the day it needed to arrive. This comment is an energetic signature. It declares to yourself out loud that you have recognized the sign and that you will no longer pretend you didn't see it. From the moment Marte approaches Gemios, and this has already begun to happen, coincidences will stop being coincidences. Not because the universe is applauding you, but because your nervous system will begin to pick up patterns that were always there and which you didn't have the sensitivity to see. The first sign is the recurring dream. Some dream from the last few months or the last few years will reappear in a sharper, more detailed version, harder to ignore. Perhaps it is a person you haven't seen in a long time. Perhaps it is a place you have never been to but recognize instantly. Perhaps it is a phrase you wake up repeating as if someone had whispered it in your ear during the night. Write this dream down. Do not try to interpret it immediately. Just record it. It will connect with something concrete in the coming days. The second sign is the mirror conversations. You will open a messaging app and find 3 different people talking about the same thing, with almost identical words, on the same day. You will walk into a store and hear a snippet of a stranger's conversation that answers a question you asked yourself in the morning while still in bed. You will open a random book and land exactly on the page where what you needed to hear is written. For the slumbering majority, this is happenstance. It's nothing. It's, what a funny coincidence. For you, it is architecture. It is your field delivering precise coordinates. It is the universe writing the same message in 3 different languages to ensure you don't confuse the content. The third sign is the inexplicable physical discomfort. A tightness in the chest that appears and disappears for no apparent reason. A sudden urge to cry in the middle of traffic without an identifiable trigger. A wave of nausea when you think of a certain person, place, or commitment. These are not symptoms to be medicated immediately. They are warnings. Marte M. Gemios operates heavily through the throat and the lungs, so pay attention. Coughing more than usual, feeling your voice choke up when you need to say something important. Having difficulty finishing a sentence, feeling the air stop before pronouncing a truth you know you need to tell. All of this is the body talking to the window. The body never lies. The mind rationalizes. But the body registers everything first and expels it before the consciousness understands. The fourth sign is double opportunities. You will receive 2 proposals at the same time. 2 people will reach out to you with similar messages on the same day. 2 paths will open up, and neither of them will seem clearly the right one. And that is where the trap lies, which must be disarmed with lucidity. Gemios is the sign of duality, and during this transit, life will constantly present you with bifurcations. Most will freeze in front of them. They will wait for a definitive sign from the universe, a neon sign flashing "Go this way." That sign does not come. The sign is the bifurcation itself. The choice is the portal. Those who understand this pass through. Those who wait for total confirmation stay still and miss the entire window. Comment "Eu estou sintonizado" below if you have already been noticing these patterns over the last few weeks. Each comment is a self-declaration. You are acknowledging that you are not crazy, that you are not exaggerating, that you are not making things up. You are sintonizado. And this attunement is exactly what separates those who will pass through this window with awareness from those who will just react and blame astrology later. And here is the urgent warning. The Magia M28 Exercicios was designed in a 28-day cycle, precisely because it coincides with the average time this type of transit reorganizes your field from top to bottom. Starting now means crossing the window with structure, with a map with solid ground beneath your feet. Starting later means crossing only with scars, without learning anything from the process. The first pinned comment has the access. Do not postpone the decision that your field has already made. And now we arrive at the core of what this transmission came to do. The warning. Marte Gemios is one of the most dangerous energies when poorly channeled because it acts exactly on the most fragile point of most people. Verbal impulsivity. The first behavior you need to neutralize immediately is responding to messages, emails, or audio clips in the first few hours after reading or hearing them. Your mind will want to strike back. It will want to correct. It will want to explain. It will want to have the last word. And it is exactly this haste that can set fire to relationships that took years to build. Create a 6-hour rule during this window. If the message triggered you, let 6 hours pass before responding. In 6 hours, your internal Marte calms down. In 6 hours, your internal Gemios finds better words. In 6 hours, what seemed like a betrayal becomes a misunderstanding, and what seemed like an insult becomes just the other person's exhaustion. The second behavior that needs to be observed under a magnifying glass is public argument. Social media during Marte Gemios becomes a psychological minefield. You will find yourself tempted to comment on a post, to reply to a jab, to enter a debate that would lead nowhere even if you had 100 free hours. Do not do it, not because you are wrong, but because the energy available to win this argument is the same energy you need to preserve to make real decisions in your life. Every word wasted on social media during this transit is a piece of fuel stolen from your own decisions. It is a transfusion of strength to the ego of a stranger. You do not have fuel to spare now. Conserve every drop. The third critical behavior is that of rash decisions. Mars in Gemini will give you the illusion of immediate clarity. It will feel like you have finally understood everything, that you need to end the relationship now, that you need to quit your job today, that you need to cut off that person tonight before you go to sleep. This clarity may be real, but the speed is not. A decision can be correct in content and wrong in timing. The practical advice, and I insist on it, write the decision down. Do not execute it. Reread it in 7 days. If the decision is still alive 7 days later, then it is real, it is structural, it is yours. If it loses force, it was just Mars burning noise. 7 days is the filter that separates a decision from an impulse. Do not skip this step. The fourth behavior to watch out for is that of gossip, of veiled digs, of triangles. Gemini rules communication, and distorted communication during this transit carries a karmic weight greater than at any other moment of the year. Speaking ill of someone behind their back, spreading rumors, writing about another person in a coded way, all of this will come back at double the speed. What you spit out now, you will receive in your own mouth within 30 days. This is not a poetic metaphor. It is an energetic pattern observed in every Martian transit through Gemini in recent decades. If you need to speak about someone, speak directly to the person. If you cannot speak directly, do not speak at all. It is simple. It is hard. It is necessary. The fifth behavior, perhaps the most subtle of all and therefore the most dangerous, is the excessive consumption of information. You will want to read everything, hear everything, watch everything, discover everything. You will open 20 browser tabs. You will start 3 books at the same time. You will jump from podcast to podcast, from video to video, from channel to channel. This is the shadow of Mars in Gemini. Mental restlessness disguised as learning, escape disguised as evolution. You are not learning. You are running away from processing what you already know. select one source. 1. Hand delve deep into it for the entire window. Depth is the antidote. Dispersion is the poison, and most people will choose the poison thinking it is medicine. But if Mars in Gemini is navigated with awareness, it becomes one of the most profitable, creative, and liberating windows of the last years of your life. The first way to use it in your favor is to write. Write every day during this window. Not to publish, not to show others. To drain. Take a physical notebook, not a digital one, and pour out everything that comes up. Conversations you need to have. People who need to hear truths, dreams that seemed absurd, project ideas, business insights, phrases that came out of nowhere and seemed important. Do not filter. Do not correct. Write. The act of transcribing thought into physical handwriting deactivates internal obsession and creates space for mature decisions to arrive. The notebook is the lightning rod of the window. The second way is to study a single thing with stubborn depth. Choose one theme, one book, one course, one skill, and dedicate this entire window to that single direction. Mars in Gemini can make you a master at something in a few weeks, provided you heroically resist dispersion. Dispersion is the poison. Concentration is the gold. Use the 28 days of the transit as a closed laboratory. Whoever ends this window with a new and useful skill emerges with a real competitive advantage in all the other cycles that come after. Whoever ends it with nothing built emerges only with the empty feeling of having gone through something intense, with no deliverables, no evolution, no body. The third way is to open difficult conversations with structure. Do not avoid the conversations, but do not dump them out without preparation either. Before every important conversation during this window, write down 3 things on a piece of paper. What you feel, what you need, what you are willing to hear. This simple 3-point structure transforms an explosive conversation into a conversation, civilized, and Mars in Gemini gives you the courage needed to finally put it on the table. Relationships will be redefined during this transit, all of them. Those that survive will survive stronger, truer, more breathable. Those that do not survive should have ended a long time ago and you were only prolonging the agony. The fourth way is to move physically every day without exception. Mars is a planet of the body. Walking, running, dancing, training, any physical movement during this window channels the raw energy of Mars in a way that does not corrode the mind. Those who remain still during this transit tend to become toxic to themselves because fire needs an outlet. 30 minutes of walking a day already performs the basic redirection of the Martian excess. It's not about becoming an athlete. It's about not letting the fire burn you from within. About not letting the mental furnace turn into an ulcer, anxiety, insomnia, explosion. And the fifth way, perhaps the most powerful of all, is to create from conflict. Every pain that appears in this window is raw material. Every restlessness is raw fuel. Every sleepless night has a sentence, a poem, a project, a decision hidden within it, waiting to be transcribed. Learn to ask each discomfort with patience. What are you trying to teach me? And write down the answer calmly. This question, repeated for 28 days, transforms a period of turbulence into an entire portfolio of discoveries about yourself. You come out on the other side of the window, with a document of your soul that will serve you for the next 10 years. It was exactly for this crossing that Magia M28 Exercicios, as 28 Chaves du Despertar, was architected. It is not astrological theory. It is 28 practical exercises, 1 per day, synchronized with the full lunar cycle, and designed for someone who is exactly where you are now, realizing that something big is opening up, but without the map to cross without getting hurt. Each exercise unlocks a key: clarity about the shadow, the integration of what has been repressed for years, the translation of signs into real decisions, and the construction of your inner truth in physical movement, not in mental daydreaming. If you are going to go through this window anyway, and you will because the transit has already begun and there is no turning back, do it with the right infrastructure. Access is in the first pinned comment. It is not just another spiritual course. It is the structure that separates those who use the window from those who are run over by it. And if you are not yet subscribed to this channel, understand this now. Each video here is a coordinate of a larger map. Losing the sequence is losing the context. The upcoming videos will show what happens after this window, and those who are not subscribed will only receive loose pieces of the map, unable to assemble the whole puzzle. And now, after all this, perhaps you are asking yourself, why is this window happening now at this exact moment in your life and not at another? And this is the question that separates those who understand spirituality from those who just consume it as weekend entertainment. Mars in Gemini did not arrive at you randomly. It arrived because you are at a point on your timeline where your purpose has requested access. The decisions you need to make in the coming weeks are not choices between good and bad. They are alignments between who you were and who you need to become. Each conscious choice made during this window resonates for 5, 10, 20 years of your life with a disproportionate intensity. A word spoken now weighs more than 100 words spoken in a neutral month. A decision made now redraws paths you didn't even know existed, opens doors you had no map to find. This transit is an invitation, but it is an invitation with an expiration date. The universe does not ask for permission twice. The window opens and it closes. Those who recognize it cross over to another phase. Those who ignore it will feel the echoes for months, perhaps years, without understanding where all those twists and turns came from. And perhaps that is the greatest warning of this transmission, the one you must carry with the most weight. Your purpose is not waiting for you patiently sitting in a waiting room. Your purpose is asking you to move. Mars is movement. Gemini is choice. The combination is choose now or accept what they choose for you and don't complain later. You are responsible for what you heard today. You will no longer be able to say you didn't know. You won't be able to blame fate, luck, others, the past, or the planets. From this moment on, every small decision of your week is a coordinate you are placing on the map of your own future. Act with awareness, speak with responsibility, move with intention, decide with clarity, pause before answering, write it down before executing, walk before exploding, write before sending. And always remember, in the coming weeks when the chaos seems irresistible, the universe will not come down to you. You are the one who rises to it, and the ladder is made of the choices you are making right now as you listen to these words. What you heard today was only the preparation. The full revelation of what this window means for your new life and of the next practical steps that will happen between day 1 and day 28 of this transit is in the video that appears on your screen now. Click on it. The first 60 seconds will adjust your timeline in a way that this video has only just begun to sketch on the margins. And if you felt that this transmission was not accidental, that each word resonated somewhere you couldn't name, comment, "Eu não cheguei aqui por acaso" below. This comment is your energetic stamp, the public record that you have recognized the sign and accepted the responsibility. Access to the full path, Magia EM28. Exercicios, as 28 chaves do despertar, is in the first pinned comment. You have 28 days. The timer has already started, and those who understood already know what to do.